seeking for the exotic taste. Travelers from across the world come to Vietnam to experience its renowned unique coffee. For Vietnamese, coffee is not simple just a beverage, but the coffee itself is a culture that represents the Vietnam way of life. However, coffee cultures in Vietnam is not just a local practice anymore, but it's becoming the signatures for that representing the Vietnamese cultures as a whole to the international community. And here is the two outstanding coffee that represents the whole coffee cultures of Vietnam, drip coffee and the egg drop coffee.
My name is Prachia Monburanasiri. I'm the owner of the Kun Chan's Cafe. Actually, our egg coffee in the menu we call the Vietnamese style coffee. We got the inspiration from the Vietnamese coffee. So it's not really a Vietnamese like authentic coffee. So from the heritage of the Vietnamese coffee, the Vietnamese people like drink coffee with the ingredient of the egg yolk, and we adapted and infused the egg yolk with the honey, with no sugar and with hot Americano. I think every coffee shop or every cafe has to have their signatures. So we try to find something that not so new, but in the opposite, we think like the very original of the root of the coffee in certain places or certain area has like the charm of it. It's quite popular, and the first impression when the customers like heard about the menu, first thing they will ask us is like if it's gonna be like smelly with the the egg yolk, and when they try it, it's surprised them in a good way. I think the Vietnamese coffee has inspired a lot of like restaurant and people, and the coffee culture also, because the Vietnamese coffee has a very different ways to drink coffee. Yeah, I think that should be enough for the whole inspiration thing.
My name is Apisak Asaku. I'm the general manager of Le Dalat restaurant. The drip coffee is, when you think about Vietnam, that's probably one of the first things you think about. So it's synonymous with Vietnam, and when you go to Vietnam, I think a lot of people would say it's something you've got to try at least once. What makes it different? I would consider two key factors. One is the actual coffee that we use. It's usually a blend of Arabica and Robusta, and some brands add one or other two varieties depending on the formula. The roast is usually quite a dark roast, what sometimes we call a French roast. So that's what makes the flavor and the color quite dark. People say it's a bit on the bitter side and a little acidic, but that's why it goes very nicely with condensed milk, because you have a nice balance between bitter and sweet. So some people really like that. And the second factor is the filter itself. It's very practical, and it's perfect for single servings, because you just put coffee, add water, and then let it drip slowly, one drop at a time. With this filter, you get the full essence of the coffee that comes through. Most people say they love it, especially Thais, because Thais are already familiar with their own version of the iced coffee. which also is also mixed with condensed milk. But I think when you have Vietnamese coffee instead, there's a more elevated feel to it. You know, it's the taste is a lot stronger, so it's really perfect for serious coffee drinkers. When you go to Vietnam, you see a lot of side street cafes, and in the morning and in the afternoon, you see a lot of people just sitting around, sipping their coffee. You know, taking their time. There's a philosophy to it, to that, because of the way the filter works. The coffee slowly drips into the cup below. As I said, one drop at a time. Sometimes I say that is a philosophy, of the Vietnamese, it's part of the slow life. It's part of taking time to reflect about your life. Watching other people's lives, and just do a little thinking.
ครับผมจือเกืองครับเป็นกรรมการของบริษัท TNB Interchange ครับเป็นผู้นำเข้าของผลิตภัณฑ์ต่างๆที่มาจากประเทศเวียดนามครับกาแฟก็เป็นผลิตภัณฑ์ที่พิเศษของประเทศเวียดนามด้วยนะครับสำหรับคนเวียดนามการดื่มการกินการทานกาแฟมันเป็นวัฒนธรรมอีกอย่างหนึ่งของคนเวียดนามก็คือคนเวียดนามส่วนมากเขากินกาแฟทุกๆเช้ากินกาแฟเยอะคนเวียดนามสำหรับคนเวียดนามตอนที่กินกาแฟคนเวียดนามจะสามารถเป็นแบบเจอกันคุยกันสื่อสารกันคุยกันเรื่องนู้นเรื่องนี้มันเป็นวัฒนธรรมอีกอย่างหนึ่งของคนเวียดนามครับ
From what we have learned from this journey, we have seen how different cultures can adapt itself and form the new identity which is unique and has its own charm. From the introductions of coffee in the colonial era, now it's integrated with the locals' way of life and become the proud national identity of the Vietnamese people.